Welcome to Kung Fu Havoc number 2. I'm going to do 2 racist videos and I'm going my butt to bed tonight after I decide if I'm going to do a mission or not. So this video is called Do Mixed Race People Offend You? Let me get the title there. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's backwards for you. So I'm going to read this. I had planned on making another mixed race video or a mixed video, a racist video rather. But I came across this. So here we go. I don't know why, but I get this weird feeling that non-mixed race people are offended by the existence of mixed race people. This is right up my alley because I'm mixed. This is right up my alley. Anyone else notice or get this vibe, especially if you are mixed with half white? Now it's got a picture of some mixed people, so you know. And they're very beautiful people. I should be amongst these people. All right, so one. Um, Just like the answer is no. Me, sometimes the perceptions are wrong. Carry on. Um, I can't speak for everyone but myself here. But mixed race, or non-mixed race people do not offend me, creep me out, or provoke anger or jealousy or any other particular emotion in me because of the nature of their birth and their parenthood. Absolutely not. Okay, so these are all the answers. Did somebody ask this question? Absolutely not. I think it's your own imagination. Most people barely notice race, much less mixed race. Yes, your feelings are weird, or rather, it smells like a race baiting, the way you ask the so called question. No, sometimes participations is just wrong. Perceptions is just wrong, excuse me. Most of the people Most of the time, participations, especially use stereotypes, are flat out wrong. All right, so there's a lot of answers to this question. Right? I don't even know how I found this shit, but it came on top. Buzz. Okay, guys, girlsaskguys.com. Do mixed race people offend you? So many things that I can say on that. Growing up multicultural, I have to chime in on this because there are a lot of us mixed race people out here, and a lot of us aren't accepted, and a lot of us from the jump, once you find out you're mixed, because when you're mixed, I need to stand up for this. See, when you're mixed, you don't really necessarily know you're mixed until you hit like certain grades in school. And the reason I say that is because I didn't really know shit about being mixed until like the second or third grade. And that's when people started pointing out how light my mom is. And they were like, your mom's so light, she's white. And I've heard them all. And then the half-breed jokes or this and that. And then when I found out that I was more than a half-breed and I was multicultural, I started getting called like shit like Tonto and half-breed. And my least favorite is Chief. Now, there are 2 racial names that I can't stand. I can't stand nigger, and I can't stand Chief. And when you're growing up mixed, it is real difficult to find your place in the world while you're in school. When you get out of school, things are different. But while you're in school, from kindergarten to college, shit is just fucked up. Alright? And the worst part is probably the approach factor. Because a lot of people are so afraid that they're going to offend you by asking that they're too scared to ask you what you're mixed with. However, back in my day, in my younger days rather, you know, um, it really wasn't that bad, because people weren't afraid to ask you what you were mixed with. No, they really weren't. And for me, it wasn't that big of a deal. What was a big deal was when they started picking on me and calling me half breed and stuff like that. Because when I just thought I was just black and white, it wasn't a big deal, except for the race war that we had, where it was, we don't want you on our side because you're not a real nigger, you're a half nigger. And then the white kids would be like, we don't want you on our side because your mom's white, but you're not. So you're not like a real white person. You're like a half honky, but you probably would get better along with the blacks. And then when Miss Conrad pointed out my Native American ancestry, the shit hit the fan. Now I had nowhere. I had nowhere because there were no Native Americans going to the schools that I was going to. There were no Native Americans going to Berlin Moran. There were no Native Americans going to Walker. There were no Native Americans going to Buford. There were no Native Americans going into CHS. So I was pretty much in a class by myself. Now I got into some groups of kids, you know. I got into some great groups, and I had some great friends that are black and some that are mixed. And you know, to be honest, a lot more of you people out here are mixed and just don't know it. You're blind like I was, because I didn't know I was part of Native American, because growing up, we grew up in a normal house. You know, when I would visit my dad's people, which is where most of the Native American is on his mom's side, his dad was black, which is why he looks black. Or his mom and her mom were Cherokee Indians, and her mom was from the Powhite Reservation just outside of Richmond, where my mom's mom, she's mixed or she's Native American. We're not really sure because she was adopted by a black lady and raised by a black lady. Her dad was mixed with white. That's why my mom looks exceptionally light, unless by the grace of God, my mom was switched at birth. Now, if you look at all of my siblings, my older sister and I were high yellow. The sister that's under me is off-white. The sister under her is a chocolate drop. She's the darkest in the family. The sister under her is high yellow. The sister and brother that are under her are off-white and high yellow, or at least fairly tan. So we have different shades, and if you see me with my nephew in some of the pictures and some of the videos I put up here, as you can see, we're all the colors of the rainbow in this family. So you know, it's a complex situation, and you know you have to think about these things. But when you are not mixed, and you're like all white, you might still be mixed. You might be white from Europe and white from Spain, or white from Europe and white from Germany, white from Europe and white from freaking France or something, which still means you could be mixed, you know. But I don't think white people really consider themselves mixed when they're different white people. I can't really say that, and I don't think that Asians really consider themselves mixed when they're different mixed Asians, if that makes sense. I will say, like, if you're Chinese with a Japanese father, they probably consider you Japanese. If you're Japanese with a Chinese father, they probably consider you Chinese. I don't know if they really have that system worked out. You know, same thing like if you're Indonesian and you have a Chinese father, then you're Indochina. If he's from Indonesia, but his relatives moved over there when Indonesia was discovered from China, it was called Indochina, then it became Indonesia. That's your history lesson for today. So if you're that, then I guess you're Indochina. Now, if you are Eurasian, which means you have a European parent, which means they're probably white, and you have an Asian parent, you're Eurasian. If you're Blasian, that means you have an Asian parent and a black parent. All right. Now, Blasian's a new term for me, so I can think that that would probably fall into Tiger Woods and The Rock. The problem with that is that Native Americans, cha-ching, are also Asian. So would that make me Blasian? Because I don't know. But you know, when you weigh the pros and cons, you know, Native Americans are from Asia. They were here 20,000 years before the Europeans discovered, and the Spaniards and the French, and to top that off, the Chinese man discovered America first. So yeah, history tells y'all a bunch of shit that they're required to tell you versus what actually fucking happened. But Native Americans are 1,000% Asian biologically. And by biologically, I mean by blood, they are of Asian descent. Now, as they evolved getting over here, some of them kept Asian features, which are mostly their eyes. My grandmother on my father's side, her eyes were slanted like a motherfucker. And as a kid, you don't see that shit. You know, kids don't see racism. Kids don't see race. They just see you as who you are. They don't see your skin color. And that's why you can have little black kids and little white kids and little Asian kids all running around and playing and all that other shit. And by the way, if you're Mexican, you're also of Asian descent because you're Native American. If you are of a Mexican tribe that was born in America, which is the only way you can be Mexican, but Mexicans are Native American too. They also splintered off from the Native American tribes, and same with the Amazon, same with the Incan, the Mayans, the Aztec, etc., etc. That's how you get your funny shaped eyes. Now, if you are one of the people who were one of the 10,000 people related to Genghis Khan, which means you're Mongolian, which means you will probably have some Native American features as well. So, therefore, no. But Native Americans were over here before Genghis Khan rose up and started conquering the world, whatever. So, you have to think about that. It's why Asians are like the bulk of the race of the planets. So, it's kind of a thing. But the thing is, when you are mixed in your feature show, it gives people more of an incentive to pick on you. Alright? So I'm going to end this video with that and do a part 2. But actually, I'm going to do a totally different video, but the same concept. I'm James Williams Shoes, Kung Fu Athlete number 2, BC India.